Pat Bev. Draymond Green's not available. Pat Bev, line 2. Biggest jackass in the NBA?
Yes.
Without a question.
Without a doubt.
Like, not even
He's
close.
in a different category.
There's a lot of jackasses. It's not even close.
What was the ball thing? He had a ball.
He threw it at a fan or something.
So
Yeah.
there was a fan behind. I went back and saw. I saw a clip of it. There was a fan.
So a
who
fan
had a ball, grabbed
Yes.
a ball somehow,
Yes.
and so Pat raised his hand like, "Throw it to me," and then as soon as he got it, he fired it back,
Chucked it back at him.
overhand, fastball pitcher.
Okay, so this is what happens. I got the full video. The video I had seen yesterday was Pat Bev got up. Some fans were chirping. Game's basically over.
Pat can't leave anybody alone.
The fan did throw the ball at him first. Pat Bev threw it. A guy picks it up and didn't throw it like hard. Like kind of tossed it in the air back to him. Like, hey, balls aren't supposed to be here. And Pat Bev got it and threw it back as quickly as he could. He hit a woman with it. And so the altercation, and this is not the first time he's thrown a ball at a fan.
No.
And so Pat Bev does that. And then Pat Bev gets spicy in the postgame.
That he did.
So Pat Bev's already a jackass. He gets spicy in the postgame. And there was a gal from ESPN Radio next to him in the locker room.
Yeah, producer.
A producer. Just putting the mic next to him to get the audio. And I don't know why he asked this question. Is the question in the audio clip, Swag?
Yeah.
Okay, so take a listen to this. It's a very odd thing for him to be saying to a producer of ESPN Radio.
Yeah, this is going to be fines from the NBA.
He's going to get
and
suspended.
ESPN higher-ups calling the NBA and the Bucks going, yeah.
Because Windhorse vouched for her publicly, said she is one of the most beloved producers that helps us a ton on game days. Where is this coming from? Get this back and forth with Pat Bev in the locker room.
Here.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Before I finish.
Yeah.
You subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not.
So you can't interview me then. No
Okay,
disrespect.
Well, Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Again, there were a couple times within a bucket or two. In previous games, y'all have been able to kind of get over that hump, or maybe. Was it anything they did in particular, or was it just one of those where the bucket didn't go down, there wasn't the stop, they made one? What kind of prevented that you all from being able to get over, kind of like you have in the past?
You move that mic, please, or just get out the circle, please, for me, please, ma'am. If you're not subscribed to my pod, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome to the new media, where if you're not subscribed to my podcast, like, rate, review, you are not allowed to interview me. I love...
He's getting multiple fines. I don't know if
Yes.
they can go suspension, but I mean, there's specific rules.
She's just having the microphone next to all the others, and he singles her out because she caught off guard, asked if she subscribes to his podcast. She goes, no. And he goes, you can't interview me. And she goes, well, Jamal is here. And he goes, okay, and then continues to tell her to get the mic out of the face. Golliver's told us this in our interview with him on YouTube, and I thought it was when you need to don't rely on podcasters.
Yes.
And I thought it was a great point, and now it's an even better point because Pat Bev is a jackass.
If you're already pivoting to your post-career career and you're looking ahead, that means you're not much of a player anymore. And he is a prime example of that. Now, the only caveat I'll add, I'm not defending the behavior. He is an absolute douchebag, and this was a horrible look, and he deserves every punishment coming his way for the NBA. I've seen Milwaukee people say he did this all year in Milwaukee. Like, post-game, he would say this to Bucks reporters after are you subscribed to my pod? Then you can answer me a question.
That doesn't make it right.
No,
That's
I'm not saying it makes it right.
Stupid
but I
thing
just
to
saw
say.
the arguments of, like, he's singling out this female and it's a sexist thing. And Milwaukee reporters said he did this to Bucks reporters all year.
I don't know about sexist, but he did single her out.
Sure. I don't know how many other people were local reporters and how many of them were national reporters, because I don't know how many national reporters were at that game.
It's a playoff home game. It's no different than Blazers.
Sure.
There's some national guys, but
Yeah,
large.
But I don't know how
most of it's
that's
local.
allowed under NBA.
I mean, it shouldn't be allowed, and it's one of the douchiest things I've ever heard a professional
I can't
athlete
imagine
do.
that because there's a Basketball Writers Association, and they go and there's grievances and with the league, and now it's public. If it was just everybody was shrugging their shoulders, it's just Pat Bev being Pat Bev. But yeah, this will turn into a thing. ESPN will behind the scenes go to the league and go, we ain't doing this. Get him to talk, or we got big problems.
You know, a lot of his career, because he wasn't very heralded coming out of college, his career is basically built on being the annoying, chippy, clap in your face, Duke, hit the floor guy, I'm going to lock you up. And he certainly has moments. He just had a moment that led them to get to Game 6. He seemed, I don't think any of us surprised by this, right? Based on how he was in Houston, it's like, if you would have told me into the future this is what it becomes, I'd go, yeah, that tracks.
Yes, that's exactly how I would see it playing out. Also, another example in Milwaukee, like this was did they add anybody else at the deadline other than Pat Beverley that I'm forgetting?
I'd have to go look, but like this,
this was your move.
Yeah, this was one of your
We're
big
struggling,
moves.
and we fired our coach. Where do we go from here?
Let's Doc Rivers and Pat Beverley.
Let's go add Patrick Beverley. They had a possession at the end of the first half where Dame was basically triple teamed out near half court, and he had to get rid of the ball with like 10 seconds to go. He gave it to Pat Beverley, and he had to force up a shot at the clock at the end of the half where he tried to hunt out a foul. He just who thought this was going to work? It was a horrible idea. He's a douchebag. It's a terrible look, and maybe you shouldn't bring in podcasters to save your season.
But rate, review in the podcast.
But subscribe. Mash that subscribe
Dirt
button.
and Sprague on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your local podcast.
Hey, I'm not reading Sprague and the Line sponsors today unless you're subscribed to the podcast. Okay, you better subscribe.
Would actually be really funny if nobody texted in.
No sponsors today.